frustration from being talented.
Testing 1 2.
Yeah, of course, like Michael Jackson, like he had to fight to get his video played because he was black. This is Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's not even black. He's Michael Jackson. You know what I mean?
Let me turn that down. What up? What's up, y'all? We in the house. What's up? What's going on, Earl? Earl in the house. I'm in the house. Happy I'm back, man. Last show, disaster. Man. Man. How many people listened to the last show, man? It might be some faithful people out there that actually saw it, man. But if you did see it, that's probably gonna be your only time seeing it because we burnt the tape. we burnt the tape. That tape is on fire. I gave Earl $40 to burn that tape. Please listen to my demo. Do not listen to that demo on Intellectual Radio. But but we're gonna do a little better today. Gonna do a little better. At the top, I renamed the show, Earl. It was Black Hollywood Money. We was gonna do Black Hollywood Money. Right. But I renamed the show, man, because I think that was gonna kind of box me in. New name is gonna show is called Be Self-Absorbed. Because it's just gonna kind of encompass everything. I'm Brian Self, so I think this new show should be just absorbed with my spirit and so forth. So we're gonna get started. And today, interesting show is hot in here. Y'all gotta excuse me real quick. Let me turn a little Kanye while I take off my jacket. I did not anticipate it being this hot in the studio. So let me take off my jacket. We're gonna play a little Kanye. I'll be right back. Here we go. Let me turn it up a little bit. There we go.
Product first, not just clothing, but water bottle design, architecture, everything that you could think about. And I've been at it for 10 years. And I say, wait a second, there's no one around here in this space that looks like me. And if they are, they're quiet as fuck.
They quiet. Kanye say nobody in that space that looks like him. All right, tonight's show, man. What is tonight's show? Be self-absorbed. Tonight's show. Let me talk to y'all about tonight's show, man. Earl, can I bump a little bit of my music in the background while talking to Mike? Is that doable? To kind of get my little mood so I can set my little mood for tonight's show? Yeah, let me do it like that.
And I said, I'll take that chance.
Yeah,
I'll take that chance, right?
Now, I ain't gonna play no vocals. There we go. The vocals over with. All right. Real light. How it sounded? Everything sound good? Good levels? All right, so tonight's show. So, I'm on Facebook the other day, right? And I got a Facebook friend that I don't know personally, but a Facebook friend that seems to be like a somewhat informed person. This particular Facebook friend posted. Well, let me tell you. The bio in this Facebook friend's page. It goes, I'm a believer, professional matchmaker, native black advocate. That's deep there. Native black advocate. Feminine energy expert. Now, I'm not going to touch that part tonight at all. But I do want to touch this particular post that she posted the other day. Okay? And as I start to settle in, I'm going to go ahead and turn down to Kanye. You can hear me, but the post was about a Vice article. You watch Vice News, Earl? You ever see Vice News? Okay, Vice News is some, how can I explain it? Vice News is like it's a news network. It's an alternative news source. They do a lot of like underground stories. They go into like on location. They do a lot of like dangerous stories. You know what I'm saying? So Vice News, they kind of give you like behind the scene, go kind of like where the local news won't go. That's where Vice News go, so good news source to look them up. So Vice News, they got this story about Chicago, about this boy named Cortez from the west side of Chicago on 16th Street in Millard. Now, Okay, now Cortez says he's a part of this gang called the Millard Boys on 16th and Millard. Okay, now I have to play a little bit of this clip from this Vice News. So I want to kind of set it up though first before I play the clip. So in this Vice News clip, Cortez is a Millard boy, and he's gang banging, and his family kind of reaches out to this kind of like pastor interventionist guy who's trying to get Cortez to move out the neighborhood and to move into like maybe like Battle Creek, Michigan, somewhere far away where he can get away from his gang trying to kill him. You saw that? Okay, so that's Vice News. Okay, so and this in the article we see the guy who's trying to work with Cortez's family even goes and talks to some of the guys that's actually, well, one of the guys that's trying to kill Cortez, that's looking to kill Cortez, and the reason why Cortez has to move out the neighborhood in the first place. In this story, we see Cortez's mom, and she talks about maybe losing her son and her fears and things like that. But it's a really, really, really deep piece, and I just want to really play maybe 2 minutes of it, so we kind of like get a feel of what I'm talking about. So maybe you all can get a feel of Cortez and what he's going through, and we're gonna come back and discuss it a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and play a little 2-minute piece, and I'll be right back. Listen up.
I'm Millard, man. We throw our shit up like that, you feel me? I'm definitely Millard, man. Shit, and I can't get out of it.
So if you walked off this porch and walked down 16th Street,
I'll fuck around, be dead walking on 16th. You feel? You can't 16th. That no. I won't even think about walking on 16th at this time of day. Trying to go straight. I won't even play like that.
What could I to try to save Cortez? What you think?
It's not that easy. You can't.
How did it get to that point?
Of course, man. They robbed one of our homies. We robbed one of their homies. They came back. They really shot up my homie. Shot him 6 times. No bloodshed ever since.
So this been going on for how long?
Since like 2011. We was 13 then. But now you actually gonna shoot him? Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him and kill him.
Who could I talk to in the organized gang of it? Some old chiefs to bring everybody to the table.
Guns gonna get drawn. People gonna get shot. We young. We don't care about no old vice lord. Y'all old heads. Y'all not living what we going through every day. Y'all ain't getting shot at every day with guns with beams and lasers on them and special type of bullets that'll come in small and go out large and knock half of your head off. Y'all ain't going through that every day. We don't care about what y'all saying. We'll kill y'all.
Let's stop it right there. We'll kill y'all. Now I say that. Now let's get back to the reason why I originally wanted to highlight this story is because it was brought to my attention from a Facebook friend of mine. And she posted, and she says, she posted this story about Cortez in this video. You all should go check out this Vice News video. It says, this is the cycle. We have to break this cycle. And you know what? And I think I point to, and you're right. This is a cycle, and this cycle needs to be broken. And I agree with her about that. But the thing is, with the part that kind of we kind of split heads was kind of, can we break this cycle? And and I asked her, did we start this cycle in the first place? And I comment on her post, and I said, we didn't start the cycle. The federal government did. When they shut us out of wealth. How can we break the cycle when we didn't create it? Simple question. So I just kind of wanted to set up some dialogue at that place to just kind of see where we go with it. You know what I mean? Because the reason I did it, I get tired of us blaming us for being in our condition. We get a lot about black people. We need to do better. Black people, man, do better, black people. But that's the easy route. Nobody ever says, government, y'all need to come fix this. Nobody ever says that. So, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. So she responded to me. She says, control what we can control. Let's stop it there. What can we control? Our breathing. We don't control our hospitals. We control our banks. What she saying? Our bowels. You can't control your grocery store. What do you control? What can you control? Like first, she said, control what we can control. All this dude has to do is make the decision to leave the life. His mom took him out of the environment. We didn't get to that part yet. I told you later on in the video. I'll play the video some more, and we can go over there. His mom took him out of the environment. He has a new opportunity. However, he doesn't see it because he's been through the exact opposite since birth. Waiting for them to fix the system isn't going to solve the problem. Okay, so let's just go into that a little bit right there. All he has to do is make a better decision. Really, Cortez is what, 15, 16 years old, probably. What reading level do you think Cortez reads on? What do you think level does he comprehend on? When I first played the video, do you hear how he sounds? So you telling me Cortez is functional, he can make that decision. And this goes back to people think, it is probably a small, minute group of young men who may make a decision, the right decision in Cortez's situation. But it's such a small position that we shouldn't point and say, no, Cortez, you messed up. You need to make a better decision. No, we need to give Cortez better decisions. All right, so I'm gonna play the video again. We're gonna continue where we left off. Is the guy who actually is looking to kill Cortez, and the family intervention guy was talking to him, saying, "Look, what do I need to do to stop you off from trying to kill Cortez?" And the guy says, "Nothing. This has been going on since we was 13. We're trying to kill him. The robberies and shooting is back and forth. Nothing you can do. No gang, older chiefs. We will kill y'all." So we're gonna pick up right there.
Somebody gonna get shot.
These kids today, when they say they're gonna kill somebody, they mean it. The only way they won't kill you if they dead themselves.
These your clothes. These Cortez clothes.
Okay, bring both of those bags. Okay, I'm gonna take this out. Cortez's mom have had inbox threat through Facebook saying, "We know where you live at, and we're gonna kill you, Cortez, and your kids." The only thing that I can tell her is just time for you to move, so we can get Cortez out of town quick as possible. We headed to the juvenile detention to pick him up, moving the stuff, and we're gonna hit the highway because their life is in danger.
I really can't see myself burying my son. Because the route he's going, if we stay here, I will be burying my child.
This is part of loving them. You have to uproot yourself to protect them. That was your room right there?
Yeah.
Okay, because that was Cortez's mother right there. Now, what I'm going to do, that's Cortez's mother talking about possibly the thought of having to bury her child. So what I'm going to do is fast forward a little bit into where Cortez is actually moved out into Battle Creek. And Cortez is getting homesick, and he wants to come back to Chicago. So I'm going to go ahead and play that part real quick. He's kind of arguing with the family council guy.
Because they were looking for Antoine.
I'm trying to stay here, bro. I'm letting y'all know now, bro. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. I'm not finna stay down here, bro. I'll get locked back up, bro.
You created this. Nobody did this to you. Man, you created it. Man. You think she really wanted to come to Battle Creek, man? She didn't want to come to no Battle Creek.
Why we come here then?
Because of safety.
Man, no
because,
safety, man. I was safe in Chicago.
You know what you said? You said, you know what? I just happened to be coming out when they were shooting. Man, they were looking for you to shoot. They weren't looking for me. Yes, they were. Tweak. Yes, they were. You better wake up.
They weren't looking for me.
You'll be.
They were shooting at the niggas on the side of my crib, bro.
On the way down here, you thought about your father and what he said. You didn't want to be in that.
I don't got a game bang to go back to Chicago. I'll drop that shit. What you talking about?
You know what? It's better to be in a place of safety than to be dead, sleeping in a grave.
Bro, I'm done talking, bro. Like I told you, bro, I ain't staying here, bro.
Good enough for me.
Okay. So we talk about decisions and decisions. When we think about back to when I think back to when I was 16 and some of the decisions I was making. And would I have been Cortez saying, no, I want to go back to Chicago? Would I would have got it? I don't know. You know what I mean? How many kids will get it? And this goes back to the young lady's original statement, change the cycle. He should make better choices. Control what we can control. Cortez is trying to control what he can control. He can control Chicago. He can't control Battle Creek, whatever. He knows what he knows. You can't expect. See, the thing is, you got to put up pressure on Cortez's city officials, Cortez's government. Cortez shouldn't be faced with these choices. That's the main issue. We got to stop blaming Cortez's in general and put the right blame on the right people. So I go on in this Facebook thing and I tell her, I say you gotta see this from a different lens. He doing what he knows. He's not the problem. The problem is the environment he lives in is full of degenerates in the first place. Everyone can't escape to a little township. We have to stop victim blaming and see this thing for what it really is, a governmental issue. This is a systemic problem. We have to view it that way and demand more from our government. We pay taxes. That was my statement, right? So to get through this quickly, because we went through probably about 7 comments, and I think it's really important we hash this out because this is the way we think. We think we can fix ourselves, and some of us can't. But like I say, how do individuals fix a systemic issue? So I leave it with we pay taxes, right? And she says, I'm not blaming him at all. I'm saying his life would change if he looked at his own life through a different lens. This is 16th off a Millard boy. Millard, we want Cortez to see his life through a different lens. Did you hear how Cortez's mother sound? Did you see how the interventionist guy sound? Did anybody seem like they had any type of where they could straight Cortez that way? Come on, people. Literally, all he has to do is step away from the life. He can't see that. But we can. That is where the community comes in. The church, what are we talking about there when we say community? What do you think? What's she talking about, Earl, when the community come in? What's the community? The church, the schools, the hospitals, the banks, the grocery stores, the police, Starbucks. What are we talking about? J&J chicken, Harold's. That's where the community got to step in. If the community intervened to show him he has a choice, he could change his life if he wants to. I think we overcomplicate this. This is what she said. But do you know what 16th and Millard is in Chicago? And do you want to talk about choices on 16th and Millard in 2018? And she want to talk about a community that's supposed to uplift this boy on 16th and Millard? Google this, people. If you don't live in Chicago, Google 16th and Millard. Please. Google 16th and Pulaski and just follow all that just take Google all around that area. And you tell me how that community is going to lift Cortez. Who's going to do it? So look, I say Jasmine, I say community, and question marks, community. Talking about community. We don't have no community. by any reasonable definition. We can't do anything to fix this. I straight up tell her, you can't fix this. The federal government broke this child's community and they had to fix it. We can't do anything. And I think, and then I tell her that's probably our biggest dilemma in 2018, thinking we can fix this. See, the thing is, we waste a lot of energy on posts like Black people do better, Black people stop the cycle, but none of this gets us nowhere. Nobody put the guns down. No posts say towards an elected official saying, your ass better stop this, or we coming after your ass. Not one. Or you won't have a job if you don't stop this. We always blame ourselves for this. All right, so then I say share a post that pressures the government to fix this child and others like him. I say we can do better cycle. You know, I tell her that. All right. The whole thing, what I just told y'all, I tell her that. So then a brother jumps in, comes to her defense, right? And I don't want to say he's coming to defense. Maybe he's just jumping in the conversation. So he says, so if the government did this intentionally, then why would they fix it? This is a good question. I mean, I think it's a good question. You know what I'm saying? If they messing you up intentionally, if somebody jerking you on purpose, why they gonna stop jerking you? I think it's an excellent question. Then he says that my logic is flawed. He said if we are party to our own uprising, then we'll forever be stuck in this conundrum. This is true that structural violence plays a part, but today we have such more opportunity and resources to foster change. And as a man thinketh is true. The man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he cannot are both right. Change the mind first. And then the young lady loved this. So, you know, it's like, okay. So she's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Get him. So, you know, we got to think our way. We got to positive think our way out of this. Cortez has to think more positively. If Cortez wants them niggas off his ass, he needs to think more positive. Cortez is thinking too negative. That's the problem. That's the problem. Wow. So I go on to say, I'm sure it was some slaves in 1860 saying the exact same thing about freedom. I mean, you imagine some slaves sitting around and your grandfather was a slave, your daddy was a slave, his father was a slave. You don't think this ever be over, would you? You wouldn't think this ever be over. You wouldn't think this would be over. How can you see this being over? You'd be like, man, they set this up. Why would they ever take us out of slavery? They put us in slavery. Why would they ever take us out of slavery? Why is it not the same thing today? Did they stop the fight? Did they say, you know, why are we stopping? What are we doing? Why are we stopping? That's why because this whole post makes me think they want to stop. Well, she's, you know, when they're saying, why would they fix it? Because we're going to pressure them to fix it. We're going to make them fix it. That's why they're going to fix it. We're going to make them fix it. All right. So where do we go from there? So I tell him that there's ancestors giving up to the fight. Then I tell him about the uprising. He talk about the foster change. I say, man, we got to analyze this problem. I say, first of all, y'all won't change and y'all don't even know the problem really. A lot of people will say, man, well, what's the solution? What's the problem? Spend 20 years on the problem first. Then you come up with some solutions. Because the problem is so deep. The problem is so deep that even to think about a solution right now, when you got a problem that's deep. Then, I say, as a man, think of as it is. I basically tell them, going to the vision board party with all that kind of stuff, like with that. You know what I mean? So move on. So, I want to get to the really juicy part. And this thing gets juicy, I'm telling you. Okay, so then after I tell them, as a man, think of going to a vision board party with all that stuff, and I tell them about the slaves and whatnot, and they didn't give up. He tells me, right. The problem is far too many see the world through the I can't because of lens. I guess he said, I can't because of slavery. I can't because of Jim Crow. Those people that say, I can't because, the I can't lens. I can't because my mama was a crackhead. I can't because whatever. I get that. But it wasn't, but I get that. That's what he says. But what I install in the kids that I speak to is that the brain is a muscle. And just like any muscle, you train it. So if you keep training it to lose, you will lose every time because you don't know anything else. That's what he says. Muscle memory. We live in a subconscious world, so most actions are learned actions and repeated actions. Yeah. That came straight off a vision board. That's what he told me. So he admitted to he messed with vision board. But seriously, the hood will never change because the majority of these people don't believe in change. So we said believe in change. What if we're okay? So we putting this on a belief, and I heard that, and I kind of like we think like, man, we all need to start believing a certain way and things will get better. You feel me, Earl? You feel when people say, man, if we all get on board, start believing a certain way, things will get better. But we're still gonna be broke, fighting for resources. But we're gonna be more courteous as I rob you. Should I be more polite as I go in your pockets? What are we saying? It's so I tell him, I tell him it's good you work with the children, brother, but give them a political education. We have to feed our children the political knowledge because what I tell them, because we are getting shut out basically. And I think I tell them, I ask them, can we agree on that? Okay, if you're gonna do all that, you feed them this positive stuff. Feed them some political education. Are you doing that? Can we agree on that? That's what I ask them. You know what I'm saying? In a nutshell. So the move down a little bit. I think I'm gonna move through this real quick because I want to get to some more stuff. I want to kind of get through this story because it's just so many of us think that we can vision board our way out of the ghetto, and I think it's a real issue, and we got to talk about why we think we can vision board our way out of the ghetto. All right. So I say, you know what? We talk about. So basically, I tell him, I say, look. He says something about. I gotta go back a little bit because I think he says he's out the cycle. I tell him about we live in, about we didn't build wealth and where we live at, and we were redlined. I told him about some stuff like that, but I'm not gonna go into those comments. And he says, I'm out the cycle. The defeatist mindset geographically, he says, I'm out the mindset. I'm out of the cycle. The defeatist mindset geographically in any other way you can imagine. And I'm because okay, but then he said, but hey, my son drives Uber because okay, I gotta stop it real quick. I gotta stop because I missed him. I missed it real quick because I told him in a couple of other comments that if he didn't get his shit together, his son was gonna be driving Uber. Somewhere in the comments, I told him that if we didn't do policy right and we didn't, his kids would grow up to drive Uber. So I'm thinking his kids are probably babies and they're going to grow up to drive Uber. So I'm kind of taking a shot at him and say, look, man, you want to do all this, I'm making this stuff, but you can't provide no jobs for your kids when they get older. That's what I tell them. And I said they're going to drive for Uber. And then on this post, he busts out and say, my son already grown and he already drive for Uber. He said his son graduated from Howard University and already drives from Uber. So I'm going to read this post. Okay, so he says, so when he says I'm outside, he said, but my son drives to Uber because he understands that capitalizing on time that he would be sitting around doing nothing will help provide him with opportunities like traveling the world. Which does I'm sorry, y'all. I really need some glasses. I should make the screen a little bigger. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know I've been. Okay. So he's basically saying all his son and his Howard alumni friends driving Uber, and he sees it as an opportunity for him to make money, for him to travel the world and to not be sitting around. He could be sitting around with his time. Just listen to this. He's saying my Howard graduate son could be sitting around. Why the hell would your Howard graduate son be sitting around? He just graduated Howard. Why wouldn't he be going to work for corporate America? He just graduated Howard. Why do he don't have a job? So you saying your son will be sitting around instead of sitting around after graduating Howard? So instead of sitting around after graduating Howard, he's going to drive Uber. And you think this is a good thing. Because you think he's what? He's providing opportunities to travel the world. That's what Uber's doing for him. Uber. When he picking up drunk people at 4 a.m. So I tell him, I said, the idea that you think the Uber is a good thing makes no sense. I tell him, I'm baffled at this point. You know what I mean? So this is when he goes in. He says, so I tell him, I say, man, you should do some data on Uber and get the fact that, you know, that's not a good company. He tells me that he says, and the idea that I think driving for Uber is a bad thing speaks to why the hood can't win. That makes no sense to him. So he's saying the fact that I think that we can drive Uber speaks to the fact that the hood can't win. So Uber's not a real job, man. It's not a real job. So we need real jobs. Uber's not a real job. What you mean the hood can't win? The hood can't win driving Uber. Or people who drive Uber will never win. You can't do nothing. You talk to people who drive Uber. Talk to Eric and ask them, what were you able to accomplish by driving Uber? What were you able to pay off without anybody else helping you? Now, people say, yeah, I could pay off this because I didn't have no rent. So I could use all my Uber money just to go to this. But what can you by yourself drive Uber to pay off? Just stop it, man. So, you know, it just speaks to Cortez and victim blaming. And I think personally, we need to start looking at this thing another light. We see they on this post, they want Cortez to stay in Battle Creek, get his education, stay in school, maybe go to junior college, graduate junior college. Then they want Cortez to drive Uber. Cortez saying, fuck that. Cortez already, consciously or subconsciously, knows that's stupid. Cortez knows his limitations, whether it's in Battle Creek or in Chicago. I can stay alive in Battle Creek by quality of life. Cortez saying, I'd rather be dead than steal than drive Uber. And I think we should really reevaluate that. Now I'm gonna jump to another kind of story that speaks to, because this is kind of like an economy, economic, financial episode. So I'm gonna jump to another story from the BBC, and I got this story from YouTube. It's called "What's Killing America's White Men?" BBC News. And I want to play this, and I want to relate it to the Cortez stories, because black folks always think white people straight, they got it. And a lot we think, we judge where we at through white people. We say, okay, white people, good credit. You ever go to a comedy show, all the jokes about white people and they good credit and hacky shit like that, you know what I'm saying? We always think just, they straight, they white. But and for the most part, white people do got some money. And they are poor white people, but what I want to play this clip, because I want to speak to this and kind of bring it back and kind of how all this relates. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip from this BBC thing on white male suicide real quick.
Born and raised in the county.
Today, Missoula, Montana is much different from it was when I was born in 1964. We manufactured and depended on the timber industry. That industry was largely a man's world. It's truck driving, it's logging, it's equipment operation. If you're a person of my generation, much of your identity is wrapped up in what you do. What's the first thing you ask a stranger in a social situation? What do you do?
What do you do? Yeah.
So for a very long time, the answer might have been, I'm a logger, which meant you put in a solid day of work for a reasonable wage.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you provided for your family, you've created a product. When I ask people what they do in Missoula, the answers are far more complex than they used to be. I'm between jobs. I don't do anything right now. But this is what I was. This is what I was, right? And in a world where you grow up with that label, and that label is important, and suddenly somebody tears the tag off, who are you?
So he says, in a world where you grow up, where you asking, what do you do? As a man, where you ask, what do you do? So I go back to this guy's son. What do you do? You graduated Howard. What do you do? Oh, I'm an Uber driver. And you graduated Howard. How do you even fix your mouth to say that after graduating from Howard University? And how are you, his father, okay with that? I'm sure he got some college debt. And if he don't, God bless him. But how are you okay with your son having college debt and driving Uber? See, white people know, man. If they got to drive Uber, they ready to blow their heads off for driving Uber. They literally ready to blow their heads off if they got to start driving Uber. If they got to say that's what they got to do without a college degree. How many white Uber drivers pick you up? So I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit, and I'm gonna go to a part where this other guy's talking about. He's talking about economics and white finance. We're gonna pick it up right here.
A suicidal individual, and you've exponentially increased the risk. Literally, loneliness and alcohol. Honestly, I just talked to so many men who just talk about this crushing loneliness. Loneliness literally hurts. The brain reads loneliness.
Oh, this is not the part, guys. I'm sorry.
Under increasing pressure.
I gotta hit. I'm gonna get us there.
48 hours.
To try to cope. And along with alcohol and loneliness, there's another factor.
Here we go.
Montana has the fastest growing income inequality in the country.
Listen to
And it's
this.
in the poorest communities that more and more people are taking their lives.
The more disparity between the haves and the have-nots, the higher the suicide rate. If you're rubbing shoulders, like in Montana you do, if you're rubbing shoulders with the wealthy and you are not wealthy, it makes us white middle-aged males feel inadequate, and we're a burden on people and we're not producing. And the more highlighted it is that I'm a have-not, the more I want to end my life.
Whoa. What do you hear when you hear that, Earl? The more it's highlighted that he don't have, the more he want to blow his head off. You know what I hear when I hear that? The more I feel black, the more I want to kill myself. Because we live with this. We take comfort in this. We party in this. You know what I mean? We rejoice in this condition. They want to blow their heads off when they get in this condition. It's deep. They literally want to blow their heads off when they get in this condition. When if they drive Uber, they're going to blow their heads off. You think it's a good thing for your college educated child who probably spent, how much Howard costs, Earl? A lot. What's a lot? What we say, 30 grand a year, 25, 23, out of state. I mean, come on. It's a lot. Howard's a lot of money. First black, probably, one of the first black SBCUs. It's up there. I want to take y'all to a story, man. It's gonna be our final story, and this is a story out of from a YouTube page called Invisible People, man. I love this YouTube page, man. It highlights homeless stories. I love homeless, stories about this because it gives you a perspective. It makes you appreciate where you are in your life. So check out Invisible People. Well, I'm gonna play this story. This is a Santa Monica African American homeless man, and this man has a master's degree in molecular science and nanotechnology, and he's homeless. Listen to his story a little bit, and we'll come right back.
Melvin,
Yes.
we're here in Los Angeles. You're homeless, living in your car. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's what's happening. I'm actually homeless. I'm living in my car. Formerly, I used to sleep on this curb here at the cemetery. And yeah, it sucks to say the least. I don't really know what else to tell you. It's just been rough out here. It's been going on for a very long time. And, it just seems like sometimes I feel like it's never going to end, but then I try to stay hopeful.
Now, you have a master's degree in stuff I can't even pronounce.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I do. It's a master's in something called molecular science and nanotechnology. It was granted in 2014 from Louisiana Tech University. I love that place. In my alma mater, I did research there, did track and field undergrad, did cheerleading in graduate school. But, for some reason, I guess it just didn't translate in Los Angeles or even outside of Los Angeles for working opportunities and jobs in the field of where I got the degree. And so I ended up basically doing jobs online, app jobs delivery for Postmates, basically bringing food to people's homes or whatever they asked for through the app. Wasn't paying very much. I was wearing down my car, which is super old. It was a 2002 it was a 2002 Buick LeSabre, pretty big car. It was like 12 miles to the gallon, and I was using that to do those deliveries, and I was barely able to put gas in the car with what I was making.
You're college educated, master's degree, and you can't find work.
I've applied literally for over 1,000 jobs, and that's no exaggeration. And some of those jobs, at least probably 25% of them, I've applied to at least twice or three times. I just was relentless with the job application pursuit. I just decided to renew my resume multiple times over. I consulted with other professional people who were, supposedly experts in resume building and coaching you through like interviews and stuff. And I changed my resume accordingly, but it's just never materialized into any job, not even an interview. So I was never able to actually practice those interviewing skills that I learned because no one actually called me in for an interview.
Why do you think that is?
To be honest, and I hate to say this because I'm not like a victim person. I'm always about go get it, do it yourself. I just feel like I've been discriminated against. And for whatever reason that happened, people decided to not have a heart and like care about a person who just wanted to help people. Because when you go get a master's in something like molecular biology, you don't do it because, or molecular science biology and nanotechnology, you don't do it because you just want to, have that fancy name. You do it because you actually have a passion for research and for helping people. And no one seems to appreciate that because I feel like I could actually help the world evolve with science and with medicine if only given the chance to do so. And I
Stop it right there. My man said he filled out over 10,000 applications for a real job. Twice. 25% of them he said he did twice. He says, guess what? You know what the biggest statement he said, Earl? I'm not a victim person. When we go back to the Facebook comment, what he say about the guy say, don't be a victim? He don't see none as a victim. See, Melvin here knows he's a victim. Melvin here knows that he has a master's degree in molecular science and he should not be dropping off groceries to rich people. Melvin knows this. Maybe it's because he went to I don't know, Howard, check on your people. I don't know. I don't know what school he said he went to. Louisiana. But he said, I don't want to play the victim role. I don't want to do that. He says, as a man thinketh. Melvin's thinking positive. Ain't he thinking? Don't he see himself? But yet he's still driving Uber, tearing up his Buick, and getting nowhere and homeless. People, man, we got to wake up. We got to wake up. We got to wake up and realize they running game on us. They running some serious game on us. And, and I go back to Cortez, and before I walked in the studio today, it was another show going, and the lady was saying, and I don't know what the topic was, and I just overheard something real quick, and the lady said, it's just like go back to the 1970s and the 60s. You got to know where your kids at. And I kind of almost wanted to come in there and grab on the mic, and I say, lady, this ain't the 1970s and 60s. Half of your kids' friends are on the internet and they haven't even met them yet. Your kids got best friends that ain't even met yet that they talk to every day. How the hell you gonna even know them and they don't know they friends? They got friends on social media that they don't even know that might kill them later, that they talk to every day, that they even came face to face with yet, but they argue. This ain't the 1970s. You got to stop that shit. You got to start viewing this a whole different way. You can't know your friend. It's not like that. What you going to log on and come on. Friends are different now. Friendships work different now. The definition of friendship is totally different than it was in the 70s. Stop comparing today to the 70s. And I'm talking to people over 50 and 55 and 60. Stop doing that shit. This ain't the 70s. This ain't the time when you grew up. If you grew up in 1970, if you had a black man, if you had a degree, if you was Melvin in 1972 with a degree in molecular science, you can get a damn job in the 1970s and 80s. He can't get a damn job now because the Africans and Indians got all his goddamn jobs and they don't want him in there. I need some gum. I need, you know what I need? Yeah. You get that taste in your mouth. Taste of, look, We gotta change this, man. I'm about to wrap up the show. It's been a good hour. I say this to say, look, I say to the people, I'm not saying I'm above driving Uber. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying if I had to drive Uber, I wouldn't have to do what I had to do. I'm not saying that, but I would drive Uber knowing that this ain't a good damn job, that this ain't the move, that this ain't cool, that I'm being exploited. That's what I would drive Uber knowing that. And I think you should do the same. And I don't have a college degree. I had to go to summer school to finish my high school degree. And I know that shit ain't the move. But like I said, if I had to, I would. But I would know it ain't the move. So yeah, so this been the first show I'm actually gonna post. Like we said, we burnt last show. Did you really burn it?
On YouTube.
Fuck it. He say why not, right? Why not? He say he didn't burn the audio. You gonna get the YouTube. Thank you. Cold water. Refresh. So look, I say that to say I'm gonna wrap up the show. It's been man. I got a few students. How y'all think the show went today? Y'all think the show was okay? Good show? Good show, man. Good show. I feel good because I feel like we gotta talk about this stuff, man. Because we can't, every time a black child die, we can't say do better. We can't say, come on, black people, we gotta do better. That's lazy, man. Ain't no solutions. Stop. No. Ain't no solutions yet because the problem too big. This is a problem that don't have solutions yet. A solution would be to stop blaming yourself. That would be the first solution. Stop blaming yourself for the ghetto. The ghetto is not your fault, black people. You were placed there on purpose. When a black child dies in the ghetto, tag the aldermen in that district. Tag those people, tag the politicians. Because that's who need to clean up his community because they pay taxes. And as citizens, Cortez deserves better on 16th and Millard. He don't deserve to get blamed for not making a choice to want to be there where he knows. And not want to go in Battle Creek, Michigan, have to start all over and do whatever in Battle Creek somewhere. He knows Millard. That's his life. Are you quick to just leave your life? I mean, I think if somebody wanted to kill me, I would leave my life. But I'm not Cortez. Cortez used to death. A little bit more used to death than you are. Probably nothing for Cortez to die. Or get shot. You know what I'm saying? Or see death. What'd he say? Them niggas, they was shooting at the dudes on the side of my building. They won't shoot. It ain't nothing to him. So, we said that. This been be self-absorbed. Absorb all this I've been saying. And get in the comments. I'm going to post this. It's going to be on the Intellectual Radio YouTube. It's going to be on iHeartRadio. It's going to be on the Spreaker app. It's just a tweaky word. And I'm also going to post it on the Be Self-Absorbed YouTube channel so we can start and continue to push dialogue. And I want y'all to get in the comments and just say, if y'all think I'm crazy, say I'm crazy. If I'm on the sun, say I'm on the sun. But I want to hear somewhat from you. And thank you. And I'll see you next week. We'll post another show. All right. Peace.